For the purposes of the record, we have nothing to report out from closed session. All right. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda, Laurel? Okay, great. And I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so our first item tonight is awards and special recognitions, and we are going to be specially recognizing in this meeting the 22-23 classified and certificated employees of the year. And I see one of them, right? I see some of them here tonight, which is great. So who? Oh, great. Okay.
I always get to go first, so that's good. Okay, so we're excited to recognize our classified and certificated employees of this past year. And so the team that I want to recognize, I think their pictures are coming up there. This is a team. Maria Lucia and Marcela Hernandez are our TK team. Marcela is the lead teacher there, and Maria is her full-day teaching assistant. And I want to tell you a little bit about these ladies and the amazing work that they do. They're both incredible teachers. I will say that about both of them. They take in these little tiny people who, are not very independent yet, and they help them to become real students, real learners, and to grow their personalities as learners in such a beautiful way. Marcela has been with the school district for 24 years now, and Maria Lucia has been with the school district for 34 years next month. So I just want to invite them both up and tell them congratulations on this honor.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say I've had the honor of working with both of those fabulous ladies and have seen the impact that they make on children's lives. Ms. Hernandez was actually my son's teacher, and so we still have very fond memories of that. And so we're just really grateful for all of your work and service to our students. And Maria, I just love that you are still with us for 34 years working with us, and you've just made such a difference with our little ones. And so thank you both for just the amazing work you do with our youngest learners. So thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I am excited to be here to recognize the Fitch Mountain Campus Classified and Certificated Teacher of the Year from last school year. First, I'm going to talk about Stephanie, who's not here, and then I'll invite up our classified employee. Stephanie Fife is an incredible teacher. She really is. Last year was her 25th year with HUSD, and every time you go into her room, DLT was at FMC yesterday, and everyone that walked through her classroom, principals and district staff alike, it just is warm and inviting. She creates a culture in her classroom where students can take risks. They talk to her and open up to her, and she pushes them tremendously academically, and her test scores show that, but also just the feeling of warmth in the room and organization. And she's just a really incredible teacher, and we're lucky to have her at FMC. And we are also really, really lucky that everybody that walks into our office gets to see Hilda Magallanes' face when they first come in. So come on up, Hilda. She has been with the district and worked actually at the preschool. And we were lucky that when when things changed with the preschool and we transitioned to MBCC, running the preschool, that she came over to Fitch Mountain campus. And so she has been at Fitch, is this 8 years? No, but 27th at FMC at the district office. Eighth, okay, that's it. So she's at 27 years with HUSD in her 8th year in the office. And she just is the glue. Teachers count on her. All staff count on her for, she does everything from making the tough parent phone calls when they need translation, if they have to be in, if it's a Spanish-speaking family, an English-only speaking staff member, myself included. She's, makes those phone calls with such ease. But then also just that warm and welcoming face to everybody who comes into the office. And she's so efficient. Anything that we give to her, ask of her, she does it. And she also just knows what to do on her own. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, she's a new grandma, which is amazing, in August. Which also means that she is going to retire in December to care for her granddaughter full time, which is amazing for her granddaughter and her daughter and her husband. They have grandma and grandpa to watch, but we're gonna miss her tremendously. It's a huge loss, and she's already starting to write the handbook to hand over to the new person. And while that will be great, and they will be able to do the task, they will not be able to fill her shoes. So, thank you so much to Hilda.
Good evening. I am representing the Healdsburg Junior High campus. Let's see here. Okay, so my two employees, I'm going to start with Dina. She's my classified employee of the year. She's not here tonight. Miss Dina, as we call her on campus, is a second mom to all students and some staff on campus. She is the light that the kids see in the morning. She's their confidant. She is their protector. I always tell the story of when a student's scared, sometimes I hear them say, Miss Tina, to help them. She is the first person to come to my assistance and help me with any task, big or small. She was the first person to reach out to me when I came on board last year to tell me how it goes and how it's always been and if we should change it or not. She's so flexible, and I lean on her every single day. So she's one of my very most treasured people at HH. My certificated teacher of the year is TC Peterson. She's here tonight. TC is our 7th grade ELA and ELD teacher. She's been in the district for almost 10 years. This is her 10th year, I think. TC exudes light, as you can see. She's so positive. Her students love her. She really models having high expectations for students on campus. Her classroom is so structured, but also very loving. Students know that they're going to work hard in her class, but they also are so comfortable with asking her for help. On a staff level, she's the staff member that's always willing to offer up her room for a meeting or to bring something. She always is willing to give a hug or a laugh when someone needs it. And the thing that I love most about TC is she always is willing to ask for help. She's a constant learner. She wants to work with her peers and with her staff members to get help on a situation or to brainstorm how we might go about something different, and always looking to challenge herself and start something new. She started our book buddies with the HES campus last year with our ELD students, and they're loving that. We're starting it again this year. So overall, a great teacher and a really tremendous mentor for people on our campus. So thank you.
All right. I'm Francisco Manriquez. I am the principal at Healdsburg High School. And the first person I want to talk about, I don't know if Mr. Bonilla is here, but he's just amazing. When I arrived to campus, he's one of the first persons that I see every single day. And so he sees me pulling up and I see him working. He's done such a great job with our campus and with our kids. And I feel like him and I have this connection where he sees me working from where he is and the work that's happening kind of from the outside looking in. And I see the work that he's doing as I'm walking the halls, and I see him doing his job. And when we meet and we talk, we just have this almost understanding from each other as I see you working, I know what you're doing, it's a good thing. So I appreciate that. And to me, he's like a father. I've said it before. He mentors me. He gives me advice on things. And so I take everything that he says with value. So thank you, Mr. Raul Bonilla. Mr. Thomas Worf, our Teacher of the Year last year, he's one of our history teachers and AP teachers. And I can't say enough about him. I think every time students see him or talk about him or we have a rally, the level of applause for him, just it's beyond. It's I want to say he gets like the most applause out of everybody. So to me, that is a vote. The students are voting themselves in those moments, those very public spaces and rallies, and it's loud. It's very loud. So to me, that's unheard of and speaks volumes for me. So thank you, Mr. Ward, for all the work you do. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, principals, for presenting, and thanks so much for the winners that were here tonight and those that were not here tonight. There's so many people on this list that are really special to our family and have taught my children and been wonderful, and we just all appreciate your work so much, so thank you. Yeah, and now you can go home if you want to. Okay, item 9 is celebrating our successes, the Healdsburg High School Wellness Center. Oh, sure. Sure. We'd like to also, actually, Erin, do you want to recognize the Michelle Cardona or Debbie? Thank you.
Happy to. I just wanted to mention that also district-wide classified employee of the year was Michelle Cardona from our transportation department. And she's just really stepped up and done a wonderful job in transportation this year, or last year. We lost our transportation supervisor, and we didn't know a lot about what goes on down there, and she really stepped it up. She made it so summer school worked for us, and we had transportation for the kiddos, going out to Bishop's Ranch, many different things she did for us, and she's classified district-wide employee.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Okay, great. Shall we move on to the Healdsburg High School Wellness Center?
Hi, my name is Kim Harris, and I am the Mental Health Counseling Specialist and Wellness Coordinator at Healdsburg High School.
And I'm Francisco Manriquez, Principal at Healdsburg High School.
And today we're really excited because we wanted to share with you a little bit about how we're improving wellness on our campus. So, as we all know, there is a mental health crisis in our community and in our country, and specifically really impacting the adolescents. And so these are just a few headlines that shed light on this issue and kind of show us why this is so important for us to take this seriously and with care.
So these are some statistics that we pulled from the Youth Truth Survey that was given in January 2023. Our students are coming to school with more and more issues that they are juggling. So 36% reported feeling depressed, stressed, or anxious as the most identified obstacle in their learning. 46% reported that their school has programs or services that can help them when they are feeling upset, stressed, or having problems. And 38% reported that there is an adult on campus or at school that they can talk to when they are feeling upset, stressed, or having problems. So the Wellness Center on campus sends a strong message that we are listening to our students and that we hear them and that we're ready to provide something for them that is very, very important. And these are visible spaces, so they send an even stronger message because they can see that there's work being done. There's a space for them there, sort of a home for them when they need these supports. Having a wellness center also helps normalize and destigmatize mental health.
So now we're trying to think about different ways that we can reimagine health and wellness on our campus. And in a wellness center's fullest potential, it will hit these 4 areas of focus. So mental health, physical health, sexual health, and substance use. Here at Healdsburg High School, we want to start focusing first on mental health and then expand into the other areas as we get further down the road. The other great thing about having a wellness center is it's offering more tier 1 interventions for our students. So things like having the drop-in center where they can come and regulate throughout the day. We also plan to do classroom education on wellness and health and have school-wide initiatives that support students as well as families down the line. And so it's been shown that wellness centers can reduce the need for more tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. So it's really more of a preventative approach in helping meet students' needs in the tier 1 level as well. And similar to what Mr. Manriquez says, having a wellness center helps destigmatize and normalize having these kinds of discussions and along the way throughout the process of developing the wellness center.
So we've received a $200,000 grant, community school grant to use towards the developing of the wellness center, and this would be over a 2-year period. Down the road, our wellness center may align with the community schools model, but right now we're working really hard to get it off the ground. Ms. Harris has stepped in as the wellness coordinator in that role of the wellness coordinator, and she receives biweekly trainings from SCO, and SCO is also providing an additional mental health provider who will assist in developing the wellness center and also assist in counseling at the junior high to offset Ms. Harris being full-time with us here at the high school. So this is, I think it's a great diagram just to look at because it speaks to the wellness center, but it focuses on the coordination of care that involves all of these other components beyond the actual physical space. It's a much larger than just it being a space. It involves many key stakeholders. And as we continue to build this, we will provide staff development, parent/caregiver education, and other elements that we will slowly roll out depending on the needs of our community. It's important to know that we also have a plan to provide or develop a youth council, which would be like a diverse group of about 10 to 15 students, which we will collect student voice from, and they'll actually help us along the way as we develop this, because we may think that we know what students want, but we need to hear from them.
So the Wellness Center is more than just the physical space, like Mr. Manriquez said. These are examples of what other wellness centers in other schools look like. And so the allocation of resources and staffing sends a really strong message to students that we are prioritizing their mental health and their overall well-being, and that we actually care about it. And so we're really excited about it. And there's many different reasons why a student would access the wellness center. So it could be that they need, a short break to kind of cope or regulate themselves when they're dealing with all the stressors that come with them throughout the school day. Also, if they have a pre-planned mental health appointment with one of the providers that we have on staff, as well as any crisis intervention that may be needed as well. And so we plan to visit different wellness centers in the area just to continue to get new ideas and figure out what we can do to continue helping support our students. And so we wanted to share with you a video from the Mount Tam School District that highlights their wellness center, but also the potential for what ours could look like too.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has declared a national emergency in child and adolescent mental health. Most young people who have mental health issues are not in treatment and not getting the care that they need. And what we also know is that 70% of youth who do receive mental health services receive it at school. So we need to be sure to build systems and structures to support students receiving that care in the school environment. TUHSD prioritized mental health and built wellness centers on each of our school campuses.
So adolescents can't focus on learning if they are struggling with their mental health. I think the fact that we have prioritized wellness centers in the TAM district communicates a message to our young people that their mental health is a priority and it matters. I think it normalizes conversations about mental health.
A wellness center is a space on a school campus that provides health, mental health, substance use, and sexual health services on campus. We provide both prevention and education as well as intervention services for youth at school. Wellness centers are as successful as the staff who run them and the students that participate in them.
We have our wellness outreach specialist who meets everyone with a smile, a warm face, and helps them triage to figure out what they might really need. There's also the wellness coordinator, and I'm going to throw in there the other wellness providers. If a student really does need more one-on-one support or they're in crisis, there are licensed and pre-licensed professionals who are there to help them.
Those relationships, the environment that they build is everything to make a wellness center successful.
Students often step through the door because we've made it such an accessible and comforting environment.
Wellness center in one word would probably be welcoming. Whenever I walk in, everyone's so positive, no matter what the thing you're coming in for is. Sometimes when you're not having the best day, to come in and see other people who are positive is great.
The Wellness Center model is a 3-tiered system of intervention, universal for all students, for some more targeted groups, and for some of the highest need students. And we provide all 3 tiers.
We have our self-regulation tools. A lot of these are art-based because we do know that art is calming. And then we also have the wellness toolbox, which if you look on the wall of each of the wellness centers, you will see the wellness toolbox that talks about sort of different areas that can help students with regulation. So it has a thing about mindfulness, connection, movement, all the things that we know that if you're taking care of those things regularly are gonna support your mental health. We also have our area for tea, and it sounds a little bit silly, but if you're having a hard day, even just holding a warm cup of something is surprisingly soothing.
You can really see that the environment that they're trying to create caters to so many students, and that environment, the goal is just safety. And whatever that means for any student, I can see that presented within the Wellness Center, and I'm really happy to have it.
Because we have high expectations and high support in the Wellness Center, we have the trust of teachers. They know that our priority is to take care of students' well-being and emotional health and get them back into class.
We're changing student lives each and every day. We're helping young people be able to focus on their learning. We're helping young people address mental health needs immediately when they need them. We're also helping young people develop coping skills to support their mental health as they move into adulthood and throughout the rest of, their adult lives.
I am so grateful to TUHSD leadership for bringing wellness centers on campuses because wellness works.
Great. So that's a great video. I think it just speaks volumes to kind of what it can be. What I love about this Wellness Center model is that it's in unison with our school mission and supporting such words such as supportive community or diverse learners. So I'm very happy that what we've already built within the mission it's aligned with this. You may be wondering, who's part of a wellness team, and so these are a few individuals who can be part of the actual wellness team. The big takeaway from this is for everybody to work together and collaborate and use feedback from each other. So any feedback that even the board has for us, we're open to that, so that we can continue to improve and make it better. But we can build it, and I'm sure people will come. But the big takeaway is that it's the people who run it and how they run it, and it's their tone and the care that they provide. As soon as a student comes in and walks in, it's how you talk to them, right, and how you receive them, and the inflection that you use. So that's really, really, really important. So we're ready to build it and do it right from the beginning. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. I think now it's time for Q&A.
I have. Sorry. I have a couple of things. First, I really appreciate you bringing this, obviously, to us. Also, the fact that we, the district and at the school sites, are talking about mental health openly, or having a center. It's like it's not, go into the counselor's office and hide because you have an issue or whatever, but we all have, I'll speak for myself, we all have issues. So I really appreciate that. I was, last Monday, was that just a couple days ago, at our Rotary meeting. I'm a Rotarian. I won't get into all of it, but mental health came up as a piece of a presentation. And after the presentation, I did mention that at the district we were focusing on this. I wish I had that list of all the mental health teams, because I mentioned a few. But I would invite you, the two of you or more, from all the schools to come to Rotary. And I ask you, please do. Come to Rotary and make this presentation so 70 people, or whoever shows up, Rotarians can see what's going on, can talk about, can understand what we here in Healdsburg Unified School District are doing as far as our kids' mental health. It's very important that it's out there, that people understand that this is important to us. And again, that we talk about it. It's not a stigma to go in and see somebody and say, I got an issue or whatever. And I won't get into more, but that's certainly what we need to do. And again, I invite you to come. Please call me. We'll try and set something up or whatever. And I invite the other schools as well, because I know you're also involved in this. But thank you for doing this. Thank you for the presentation. I just kind of wonder where our room is and what does it look like? We don't know yet.
So right now, we have a space in the counseling section of the high school. And I just unpacked all of the supplies that we received. So it doesn't look so good as the other places yet, but it will soon. And then we would love to have you there.
Bring us a picture. Oh, we'll stop by. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. That's perfect. That's great. Nice space.
I also just want to commend the district. I don't know if where it's stemmed from, but to apply for that grant, and that you, because a lot of districts haven't applied for those community grants, and the fact that Healdsburg did. Just Diane, was that you? It's great. So I just want to commend. Yeah, thank you for doing that, because it's going to be a great opportunity for our kids to just have a safe space and get the support and resources that they need. So thank you for being out in front of that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, do we have any public comments on non-agenda items? Thank you. So the public may address the board on any consent action item or item not listed on the agenda. Pursuant to the Brown Act, during this period, the board cannot consider issues or take action on any items not listed on the agenda. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person. And the first person is Sarah Plum. Oh, yeah, you're welcome to come up together.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to introduce us. We're here on behalf of the Healdsburg Ag Boosters. I'm Sarah Plum. This is Karen Click. I am Healdsburg High alumni. My husband, my children, her children are as well. And ag is dear to our heart. And last spring, it was brought to our attention that they would not be continuing on with our second full-time ag teacher. And so us as boosters had some money set aside, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware that we gave $25,000 to the district to fund a second full-time ag teacher to carry 7 sections so that it wouldn't be cut, because we see the students the classes are full, kids are being turned away, and we just kind of had the agreement that we would open the conversation, because I don't know how long we could fund a full-time ag teacher as a small little group of 10 people, but that we just wanted to talk to you guys, start bringing it up, so in the spring we're not surprised of, we don't want to go backwards. Other schools have multiple ag teachers. Newman just started it. Some new students that have transferred in since we've opened up a little bit. I think a majority of them have joined the ag program, and a draw, especially from Windsor, was our ag program. And so, we appreciate that they were willing to let us fund another ag teacher. And in our community, I feel that agriculture is the heart. And I would hate to see our program go backwards. I know that we will stay involved forever because of the benefits it gave our children, whether they're in ag or they go on to pursue other careers. I feel like the leadership that it offers is huge. And we just want to work with the district, with you guys, and make sure that we don't lose it. And Wesley's amazing. Our new ag teacher seems to be great. The kids are loving her. And I'll leave the rest to Karen, who has a little bit more of the numbers of what our kids have achieved.
Yeah, Sarah said a lot of it, but I just wanted to let you guys know, because I don't think a lot of people understand how hard and how many kids we have in ag at the high school. But they're hard working students. My own experience, I didn't have my first two kids take the ag program route, but once my youngest did, she'd come here today and tell you that there's no way she'd be a USC student without FFA in Healdsburg High School. Nothing else gave her that ability to go to that school. Just to give you a few stats, in 22-23, 164 high school students were enrolled in ag classes. 107 students had full-time experimental learning projects occurring year-round. So that's 1,964 total hours recorded in 22-23, and those students earned $119,285 through SAE projects. 129 students participated in FFA activities, and 12 state degrees were awarded. To get your state degree, there's 500 hours worked outside of the classroom. You have to have at least earned $1,000 minimum, 50 hours of community service, 5 chapter level activities, 5 above chapter level activities, 3 or more years of enrollment in an ag class. So this is the thing. If kids can't get into these ag classes and at least have taken 3 and they're turned away, they cannot get a state degree. In 21-22, there were 17 American degree awards. Now that's the highest level of you can get. It's like getting an Eagle Scout. The minimum requirements, 1,000 hours worked outside of the classroom, $10,000 earned or invested, 50 hours of community service, 5 chapter level activities, 5 above chapter level activities, and have graduated with 3 or more year completers. So you have to at least have those 3 years again. And we're talking about numbers right there that were in COVID years as well. And we had 17 American degrees, including my daughter, and your son got his that time. That's a very honorable thing. I work with the school a lot. I've invested in years and years and lots of time, encouraging the kids. My kids aren't at the school anymore, but I believe in Healdsburg. I believe in that we can continue to do better. So I'm here and I continue to help out. And I look forward to opening this dialogue more and continuing to work with the ag and making us really strong.
We're actually one of the most highest in the state for being a small ag department. We are actually one of the most awarded small agricultural programs in the state of California. So Healdsburg is definitely they made a mark. So we just want to keep it going. So whatever we need to do, whoever we need to talk to, we'd love to open that up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for hearing us.
Thank you.
And we just want to thank you also for your generosity, because you obviously made a huge difference in being able to provide those 2 teachers. So thank you for that. Really grateful.
I just, again, would like to thank you again for the money, but for your energy and for bringing it to our attention. But again, I invite you to bring it to others' attention. You know, get the word out. You know, come to Rotary. I don't know why I became a Rotarian tonight, but I am. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get it out, and we can talk about funding as well. But seriously, I do appreciate it, and the more that our community knows what we are doing, what we desire for our children, my guess is the more support we'll get from our community. And again, thank you.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, so next we have the business services update. Or wait,
Student learning.
sorry, now I'm looking at the consent agenda. Sorry, we are on to public comments on agenda items. Do we have any public comments on agenda items? Okay, great. Number 12.1A, the CASA solar panel project presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
While we're waiting for the slideshow to start, I also wanted to kind of thank the FFA boosters because they are supporters of the CASA program as well. And they let us participate in one of their charitable auctions, and we were able to raise about $2,500 through participation with them. So thank you. Okay, so put together a little presentation for you to kind of give an update as to a project and an externship that I got to participate in last November. A brother-in-law of mine invited me through the solar industry to kind of participate in this fully funded trip to Nepal to do a solar panel installation in Bashkara Nabayasi. The village in 2015, in the background of the image that you're looking at, the village was kind of part of that mountain range that had kind of been wiped out by the large earthquake in 2015. And so we were there to kind of help rebuild some infrastructure. So the next kind of video, I think, explains it.
It's been a tremendous experience and one that I'll never forget.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I'm never going to forget this trip. It's going to stay in my heart.
They have to travel very long distance just to process the wheat and the rice.
Things are very far away. Transportation is difficult. The terrain is tough to get around.
The villagers with a very rough life when it comes to getting from point A to point B, but this cuts down on some traveling, which gives them more time to do other things.
Their efficiency with their agricultural work is going to vastly improve.
Since we're so remote, there's a lot of minute changes that have to happen during the job because there's really no alternative. We have to make it work with what we have, and we did.
Being able to, with a bunch of good friends and give power, we were able to help out this community, and I'm grateful for that.
3, 2, 1.
The look on their faces when the mill started, I will never forget that feeling. It was beautiful.
And
For them to be able to mass produce food like this, it's going to be completely life-changing, and I was just grateful to be a part of it.
Okay, so you can kind of go through these, and I'll talk a little bit about each one there's a few here. Okay, so first, just some of the basics that we worked on while we were there. Essentially framing infrastructure to hold the solar panels. You can keep going, yeah. The essential kind of components of a solar system, from the controllers, battery arrays, solar arrays, inverters, and then obviously the end unit in this case was a gristine mill. So it was used to process rice and millet, which otherwise, like they said in the video, would take them about an hour and a half to walk to. Again, this was kind of new to me because solar panels essentially a DC unit. So traditionally I'd always taught AC circuitry. So it was kind of a new experience for me, but kind of being there and kind of seeing how it's wired, I think we're definitely going to be able to incorporate that into classes. And I did learn how to furrow a patty with an oxentine because why not? But again, I'd say that this young man in the background, to kind of give an idea and kind of a scope and scale of like how impactful the skills that we can teach our students can be. This young man in the background was, his father had passed away the week before, and now he's the head of the household. He's a 7th grade student, and this is his job every day now. So the ability to have easy access to those sorts of infrastructures that we have here, pretty amazing. Industry relationships. So Aptos is one of the US-based engineering firms. They're one of the largest solar producers of panels. The gentleman you saw in the video, Frank, is the owner of Aptos, so we got to kind of forge some relationships with them. We're looking for donations from his company. I think he gives about 1% of every solar panel that he produces to charitable foundations. So that's fine. Green Tech Renewables is the sales team that you saw. So pretty much everybody else that you saw talking is one of the sales associates for Green Tech, including my brother-in-law. And again, through them, we have a lot of local connections here in Sonoma County, installers, and so on. Give Power is the charitable organization that's kind of organized the event and kind of liaisoned a lot of what was happening here and into Nepal. That's the team. I'm in there somewhere, yeah. So next steps for us here in Nicasa, so just building a knowledge base at the beginning of the year. Again, we're kind of looking to have more return students year over year. We already do an AC unit, and this winter we're going to be looking at building into that like a smaller solar build just to kind of teach the basic skills. With a few of the local solar contractors, we're kind of planning a few different projects. One of them, we're working on a strong workforce grant to build a food truck for Healdsburg High School, and we'll be looking to put solar panels on the food truck to power the unit. So Auto Shop is working with that, Culinary is working with that, and we are. So we're kind of planning out that currently. And again, trying to get a little more interest with these other projects that are a little bit more visible with our students to promote CTE pathway completion. And again, I think that's after the pandemic and Mr. Pagny's retirement, we had a large gap between students. I think I have one returning student who took it when he was a freshman, and we're kind of currently rebuilding that. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores this year, so I'm kind of looking to kind of continue to build the program. If we can manage it, I do have a few other plans for solar installations. But again, I kind of hesitate to just build things just to build them. So I think finding the right project can take some time. But I think there's a few backgrounds, maybe installations on some of the houses near the high school might be a viable option, or maybe doing something at the high school. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheehy. What
You're
a cool
welcome.
Experience.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me go.
A food truck sounds amazing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome project. I mean, we have the truck now currently. It's in Mr. Osborne's auto shop. They're currently working on building that back up, getting it up and running. And then it kind of comes my way with Mr. Cosino's guidance as to what equipment he wants to fit in there, and then we can kind of better plan out what infrastructure we need to power all those units.
It sounds like a really great way of bringing the programs together to work on a project and all the students that are in the programs to kind of like make one thing that is the thing that we all love, food trucks, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're currently working on the grant to kind of go with that. So the Strong Workforce Grant, which ties in with the community colleges here in Santa Rosa. And again, kind of in that phase, but hopefully we'll be able to completely fund this with grant money and really provide multi-year programs for our students.
All right, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I totally agree. Don't get me started on the environment. For our students to not only understand the importance of solar energy, but to be able to use it in everyday life is outstanding because, well, again, don't get me started because that's the way we should be going. And I would encourage you to talk to your principal about maybe getting solar panels on the school, et cetera, down the road a bit, I understand. But I think this is a great project, and it's a great first step, and I appreciate you doing it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we're on to 12.1B, curriculum request for AP Spanish at Healdsburg High School.
Hi, there's no slides. This is pretty straightforward. We've long taught AP Spanish. It's one of the reasons why we continue to be the district with the highest percentage of students who earn a state seal of biliteracy. So again, for the class of 2023, we'll be celebrating our students who earned that state seal of biliteracy along with our RFEPs and meetings to come. But one of the key components of that is taking upper level Spanish. And passing the course. So curriculum adoption is usually on a 6 to 8 year time period is when we see revisions to the texts that are used. It's been 8 years since we purchased new AP textbooks, and we have a new AP teacher because Ms. Diaz retired. So wonderful that she retired. Also wonderful that Cynthia Guig, who'd been long at the middle school, switched over to the high school and is now teaching AP at the high school. So over the summer, she went to the AP Institute where you learn how to, the tricks of the trade for AP, and came back and said, I need a new book. And I looked and I said, yep, it's been 8 years. Let's do this. So they did some reviewing in the early part of the year. She and her partner in crime, Andrea Ruiz. We're going with the same textbook that we've had. It's kind of the Bible for AP Spanish language and culture. It's called the Temas curriculum, produced by Vista Higher Learning. So really, this is a readoption. We're just buying the newest, fanciest, updated edition. Nothing different than what our program has been successful on previously. So we're looking for approval tonight because this is a readoption. This isn't a new text. It's just a new edition. And we want to they're using the old stuff right now. But we don't have the online super site that the teacher really wants to use and the updated workbooks, the consumable workbooks that the students would get to write in every year. So any questions?
Thanks,
Right.
Erin.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve? All right. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, Erin.
Awesome. I'm going to let the teachers know. They'll be so happy. Thank you.
Okay, then we have 12.1C, Resolution 2404, Week of the School Administrator.
Hello. I'm here to present, on Chris's behalf, really, the celebration of our school administrators and ask you to consider the resolution acknowledging all of the hard work these fabulous people do behind me, and just on behalf of our kids. So I'm not going to read it. I hope that's okay. No. In my British accent. Am I?
Since it's a reso.
Roll call vote since it's a resolution.
President McAllister.
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jimenez. Aye. Trustee Romo Flores. Trustee Potmissel.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. So this is obviously a very formal kind of resolution, but I really just want to recognize and appreciate all of the hard work that you have done. And especially since the school year started, because I try to recognize you quite often, but really the start to the school year has just been fantastic. And I know it's because of all your hard work and your leadership and vision, and you're just doing an amazing job. So thank you. Okay, we've got another resolution, Resolution 2405, school and classroom capacity limits.
Yeah,
Not
so
as emotional maybe, but equally important.
Right. I'm also presenting on behalf of our superintendent who couldn't be here tonight. So this is something we need to do because we're accepting interdistrict transfers. So setting classroom capacity limits for the purpose of granting or denying interdistrict transfers. So that is what this is about. It is in board policy, right? This is just kind of reaffirming what's already in board policy. The wonderful Laurel provided me some data that I think you might be interested in. So we accepted 13 interdistrict transfers this year. 7 are from our staff members, and 6 are from students who are not. So we're +6. They're all in secondary. More in 7th, but fairly evenly distributed. So I think 3 in 7th and then 2. 11th grade was impacted. We didn't really have room in 11th grade. So a +6 of interdistrict transfers to the district for this year. So the meat of this is on the second page where we're setting capacity limits with the intent that our obligation is to serve the residents using the resources. And so this is filling seats that otherwise would have been unoccupied. We're not opening new classes. We're not opening new programs. This is creating vibrancy within the classrooms and the programs that we currently have. So page 2 there keeps us under the contractual limits, but make sure that we don't get so low that, classroom discussions and other things, elective programs and whatnot remain full and vibrant. So looking for action tonight.
I have a question on the students per section. Excuse me, is that an average students per section?
Yes.
So it's an average, it's not students per section. So I could have, I'm making it up, 30 in one class and counter that with, if I do this right, 22 in another class. So my average would be 26. Because I see what I guess my concern,
right?
And those who know me know that I read.
No, it's a per section. It's not a grand total. It's that we will not have one room with 33 and one with 25 to meet the 26.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Good question.
Well, that said, I will move for approval of resolution number 2405, school and classroom capacity limits.
And I'll second.
President McAllister.
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jimenez. Trustee Romo Flores. Trustee Potmissel.
Aye.
Thank you.
Erin, I just want to note after we voted that I'm really pleased that we were able to make this change in our policy and that the transition seems like it's been really smooth so far. And I just kind of want everyone to know in the public that it's like I think all of us would be happy to hear any feedback that people have. This was a change, a significant change from our previous policy, but I feel like the changes that we're making are for the long-term well-being of the district and are generally really good for our community and our surrounding community and our employees. So I just want everyone to know that feel free to call me if you have any feedback on this subject, because I think we know it's a new thing. And so, yeah. Okay, great. Thanks. All right, moving on to public hearing, sufficiency of materials. Am I supposed to gavel that?
Yeah.
Gavel in, and then we discuss, and then I gavel out.
It's just whether there's anybody here that wants to ask about sufficiency of materials. Hearing none.
Okay, great. Thank you. Here you go. Kidding.
Use that gavel. Nice.
My gavel's not amplified enough.
It's not even 7 o'clock and we're already getting giddy.
Okay, so now we're on to Resolution 2406, Sufficiency of Instructional Materials.
Yeah, this is where, I get to Girl Scout honor you all. I was a Girl Scout, so, it's not a joking matter, honestly. I am so proud and pleased to work in a district that makes sure that our students and our teachers have what they need in order to instruct. I've said this before, it is a rare day where I have to say no to a request from a teacher for instructional materials. It's got to be like way off in kind of how does that align with what we're doing for us to say no. And that is a really wonderful thing. And we want to thank, our community who are paying their taxes and, helping us out in that way. So this is just me, making public that we have sufficiency of materials for students to use both during the school day and at home. A couple of things I think that are worth pointing out here just as informational. Thankfully, the teachers are great about asking what they need, but we're also on a cycle, right? We also pay attention to this cycle that happens. And so in the past year, we've purchased 2 new AP texts, one for history and one for Lang. Those similar to the AP Spanish, we're up for a new edition. So the AP US history text was approved by you all in 2022. And then the AP Lang was approved during last school year as well. In addition, the other big adoption that we're working on is for elementary history social science. And you'll remember that you approved a good chunk of change 2 years ago when we decided not to buy a publisher-created curriculum. So what we've been doing as the history social science adoption, and is noted here under HES, that teachers, with support from our administrators, librarians, Sonoma County Office of Ed, Education, the Costa Educational Partnership, are curating and creating instructional materials assigned to the history social science, or aligned with the new history social science framework. We did not find anything off the shelf that met our needs. There just wasn't the equity, the inclusion, there was nothing there that met all of our needs. And so we are gathering. I think we've made some teachers happy by buying globes and maps and reading materials. If you walk the classrooms, you'll see that stuff, especially in the PBL units. So many of the materials are being used to support our project-based learning units. So I think that's of special note, that we don't just buy it because we have to. We buy it with integrity and equity in mind when we purchase materials. It is time to start looking at new English language arts and English language development materials. And I see Trustee Romo Flores shaking her head. She's probably doing this as well. We're at about the 6.5, 7-year mark since we adopted English language arts across the district. So we're starting to evaluate what's been produced in these years in the ELA and ELD departments. So I anticipate that towards the end of this school year, we'll likely come forward with some requests for ELA. And then math is up next. That'll probably take a little longer. Math just got a new framework, so the curriculum developers are busy reviewing the new math framework. I think it'll be 2 years until we've got really high quality math to review, but ELA, ELD is under review as we speak. So this is an action item. If any of you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much, Erin. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution? Thank you.
President McAllister?
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jimenez? Trustee Romo Flores? Trustee Potmasil? Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item G, credit recovery Plato course list for the 23-24 school year.
So just as we are constantly reviewing instructional materials to make sure they're rigorous, they're a fit, they meet our needs, we also are reviewing our courses and our course sequences. proud that we are the only district that I'm aware of that has the ethnic studies in place as a graduation requirement. This is the second year that all of our freshmen are going to be taking ethnic studies as a required course. Think still, even this year, we're the only district that has that in place as a graduation requirement. So the counselors brought to our attention as they were doing their review, they're like, every now and then kids can't take that course or they're not successful in the course. And one of our go-tos when students are needing to recover credits because they failed is the online learning platform. We've been fairly successful, increasingly successful, because we have our credentialed teachers monitoring and involved in these courses. So they are working through online coursework. So the only change that you're seeing in this list is the addition of multicultural studies as a semester-long course. And in your packet, you'll see that there's the course outline. So Apex Learning was acquired by Plato over this last year. I've been knocking on Edmentum is the larger software company, and then Plato is the online learning part of it. They didn't have anything. Before I left for semester at sea, I was saying, hey, we've got this new course. I need, credit recovery options. So as part of their acquisition of Apex, this course that feels like a good fit, I shared it with Thomas Worf, who's one of our main teachers of the ethnic studies course, and they feel like this is a good fit for students that need credit recovery for our ethnic studies course. So that's the only new course. Nothing else has changed on this list. So we offer this to students both during the school year. They can take it as an additional course now. They don't have to wait. And then we'll offer it again in the summer. So if they feel like they can add this to their schedule in the evenings and on the weekends or during maybe one of their off periods, we offer it to them during the school year. But it'll be offered as a summer course as well. So we're just approving the list so that when the counselors go to sign them up, it's on the list.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much for that.
So I'm clear. The ethnic studies. So this is not in lieu of the ethnic studies course that we offer.
It would only be if a student was unsuccessful in the course.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Do I have a motion for the credit recovery course list for the 2023-24 school year, this change?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, great. All in favor? Aye. All right. And then item H is the Acosta Educational Partnership scope of work.
So no slides. This is in your packet. As you all well know, equity has been a central component of our work. And a key part of the equity work that we're doing as a district is a partnership with Acosta Educational Partnership. We're trying to wean ourselves, right? We need to do this work. We need to be able to guide it and own it. So this is a reduced contract than what you've seen in years past. Partly because we're starting to grow our own muscle here as learners and be a little more confident in being able to lead this work without a consultant helping us. There's two lines of work here. The first is supporting our teachers who've been through the 2 years of training that have been meeting for 2 hours about once a month for the last 2 years on their own time. They get time carded, but again, after working a long day. So this is implementation support. What you see in that first line item is helping them move from theory to practice, from taking everything they've learned about the ethnic studies tenets and starting to implement it in a more robust way in their classroom. So we have everything from a second grade and a fifth grade teacher, middle school science, middle school history, a number of high school teachers who've been through the training. And so you'll see a lot of this is coaching in the classroom and working on implementation. So that's what that first line item is about. Thankfully, we have a new county superintendent and a new deputy superintendent who are taking this on. Again, I've been knocking on their door at SCO saying this can't be district by district. This can't be the people like us who are out there go-getting and finding our own consultants. So thankfully, Dr. Amy Carter, our new superintendent of schools at the county office, and Diane Kitamura, who's the deputy sup, are going to be supporting a multi-county collaborative supporting ethnic studies professional development. And so we were invited to the table as a district. We're one of the planning districts, so we're helping the county office along with Santa Rosa City to plan the scope and sequence and develop a community of practice. So there'll be a new strand starting in October for teachers who are new to this work. So any teachers across the county will be receiving 5 full days of training supported by a grant that Dr. Kitamara wrote. And so that is free to us other than subs, which is the right thing to do, right? This is what county office should be doing, is providing support across the county for something as important as this. It's a graduation requirement for the class of 25, right? So you can't depend on just the districts doing this by themselves. So I am thrilled that we're at the table as planners and guiders, and we've had our foot in this work for much longer than many other districts. And any of our teachers that would like to join a new cohort and be trained over the next year through Acosta Educational Partnership will have that. So that's not on here, right? Because all we're paying is for subs. We're not contracting, SCO is, but I thought it was worth saying. And then the other that's related to this is that been in conversation with my job alike at Santa Rosa City School, Mr. Tim Zalanudo, I'm going to butcher his name. He leads the ethnic studies work for Santa Rosa City, and they've had about 100 teachers participating out of their district, right? They're 10 times, if not more. I don't know exactly how many teachers, in the thousands. And so our teachers that we're now calling the OGs, the cohort 1, we are going to start working with those Santa Rosa City teachers to share practice with them. So we have a date set up on November 1st. It's a full day district-wide PD day in Santa Rosa. We're offering the opportunity for any of our OGs to join. So the Thomas Worfs of the world, who's the only world history teacher in our district, can work with the world history teachers from Santa Rosa City and share practice within job alike. And, how are you embedding this in your world history class? Maggie Akala, who's our 2nd grade teacher, would be able to go and talk with other elementary teachers about how they're doing this. And again, the only cost to us for that is our subs. Pardon me? No, the $18,000 is a provider coming to Healdsburg and coaching in our classrooms. Us sending folks to join the Santa Rosa City, we're not paying for that. We're just collaborating with Santa Rosa City because we have 12 teachers, basically. They have 100. So there's a tiny, there's 6 hours. Thank you. There's 6 hours in there where we're kind of sharing cost. Yeah, thank you.
So a question on, I'm going to call it the cohort that I guess you're calling the OGs.
Yeah.
The original gangsters.
Cohort 1.
Cohort 1. And it's been, I know, a couple of years. And so what are the numbers? I know we started in...
Yeah, we had about 24. 6 of those are no longer with the district.
Right.
Retirement, other things. We're about a solid 12.
12. Okay.
Yep.
Is there any effort being made to expand that number?
That's what the countywide work will be.
Okay. Yeah. And that work with the county, is it the...
It's the Ethnic Studies Institute. It's what.
And is it the teacher's choice whether they attend or not?
It is.
And what is the incentive? I'm looking at the back of the room. I just happened to look up. But seriously, what is the incentive? I'm going to give up my time and my day or whatever.
Sure. I think a lot of it has to do with the way we talk about it and how I and our principals present that opportunity to our teachers in terms of a moral obligation, that we're all lifelong learners. There will be some teachers who can be away from the classroom for 5 days. There'll be others who that doesn't make sense for them right now for any number of reasons, right? If you have ideas on how to incentivize it, I'd love to have an offline conversation with you. I guess I'll put it that way. Yep. Oh, okay. So the last part of work, to me, is the most exciting. Since we started this, I've said, the youth have to be at the center of this work. We need to hear their voices. When we started this, a lot of it, let's just be honest, was after the murder of George Floyd. And our young people, some of our young people that are right here, did the right thing and came to the streets and said, this is true in our backyard, right? And you all need to be paying attention to it. And so part of this was our response as a school district to our young people after the murder of George Floyd, saying, do something now. So it's been slow. The Acosta Partnership has been working with primarily our Ethnic Studies Club. There's been a few full-day trainings for our students where we let them out of class, and they like that. That's a big incentive for a full day. But it hasn't had the number of students and the impact that we've been looking for. So we're shifting gears here. You can see it's a much bigger dollar amount than what we put towards this in the past. And it's a new associate. So a woman named Karina Hugh, who works for Acosta Educational Partnership, and has done this work for Ridgeway and for Elsie Allen, comes highly recommended. She lives in Berkeley. She's worked for Stanford in the Design School X. She's a force, and I'm really excited that she's going to be joining our team through the Acosta Educational Partnership. And she's going to be working with 12 to 15 of our high schoolers over this next semester. So this is for just the first semester, in which her, what she's famous for, I guess we'll say, is design work with youth. So the students are designing, the students are telling us what we need to do and how we need to do it. So she will bring them through a 20-hour process over the next semester in which they will be leading the design team for what equity and ethnic studies could look like in HUSD, right? Like, I have ideas on what we should be doing next. I have ideas on how we could make an impact, but no better than the Trustee Lopez's of the world, of the future, right, to tell us. So our freshmen through seniors, we're going to heavily try to get a wide representation. It's not going to be just seniors. We're going to make sure that we have a current English language learner on the design team, a current student with disabilities. So Karina, as soon as this is approved, will go to work. She's been already in conversation, barking up Principal Manriquez's door. He probably gets, an email a day from Karina. So she's ready and raring to go. And I trust that this is going to move us to the next level in terms of working with our youth and elevating their voice in terms of equity and ethnic studies. So I'm really excited about that line. And you can see the bulk of the packet, right? Then the next 2 pages are Karina and I talking about what this needs to push on, what's going to happen. There's the data points that we need to pay attention to, as well as the scope of work with a very, very tight outline there of what she's going to be doing for us. Any comments, questions?
The positive side is I'm thrilled that we're involving our kids, asking them what they need, what they see needs to happen. My disappointment, I'm sure is that the cohort is small, and that whatever we can do to enlarge that, or to encourage our teachers to attend the 5-day training at SCO or whatever, or to get them more actively involved in their own learning, as well as obviously bringing that back to the school, I would greatly appreciate.
Thank you.
And I guess I'm really excited to hear about the youth training aspect of it. And I'm forgetting the name of the event that happened in the spring. Crystal was there with me too, and some students. But it was basically like at Elsie Allen, there was a youth-led event. Lucien, yes, of course you were there too. And I'm sorry to forget the title of the event, but I learned so much from the event, and the students really put together the subject matter, kind of the core subject matter and discussion items were generated by them. And I just learned so much from them. And I feel like the audience was really filled with community members, community leaders, other students, but also reporters. And, they really just started and continued a conversation that is important for all of us, and especially important for them and for the future. And so I'm really, I'm really interested to hear the specifics of what students want. And, this is a lot
So
of...
they are going to present, if you see this in the work, the culminating experience for this is number 4, presenting to the board in December. So they will be here, ready to share what their design team outcomes.
Awesome. And I'm interested in how else they can use their voice, because we know there's hordes of people watching this meeting right now. And of course, we love hearing from everyone. But I just think that, there was something really powerful about being in this audience of community members, community leaders, other students from around the county. I'm really super excited that we're working with SCO. I think a lot of great things can happen when, educators work together. And I also, to be totally frank, I feel like we have issues here in Healdsburg that are specific to our town, and certainly we share many things with other areas in the county. But we've been working on this for a while, and I just like to see it continue to move forward.
Yeah, my guess is, I wasn't here in the spring, but my guess is if it was Elsie Allen students, that they were directly coached by Karina, who will be working with us.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And there was a student panel, and I think all of the students came maybe from different schools.
Okay.
So it was very collaborative, and they'd been working together. They really put this summit together, and it was...
Do you know who guided the students? Who their...
Lucien.
Lucien was the... Okay, so maybe I need to reach out to them. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
definitely worth, if you can just watch a video of it. The discussion was really cool, quite powerful and useful. And
thank you for sharing that.
I didn't have a piece of paper with me, but I was furiously taking notes in the back of my agenda because I'm trying to fit everything in, because the students said such great things. It was them doing the talking, so it was great.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to find out about that. Thank you for sharing. So we are looking to get this approved so we can get to work. Anybody want to?
So moved. All right, so moved. Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Wonderful. Thank you
and
very
Aaron,
much.
if they need some sort of guidance or help with anything, I'd be more than happy to just pitch in
I
a
love
lot or
it.
two.
I love it.
I just want to reach out.
So, in fact, and this is, Karina will be at the October 18th faculty meeting with the high school. Would be probably a good thing, Trustee Lopez, for you to come to if you have the time. It's about 2:45 on Wednesday, October 18th. I would invite you on behalf of Principal Manriquez to be in the room. That'd be great.
Perfect. I will
Thank you.
clear my schedule for that day.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys.
Okay. Thank you, Erin. Okay. Do we have a HEF report tonight? Robin, HEF report? HADA, sorry. No HEF report. HADA report. Sorry. Too many. No HADA report? Okay. CSEA report? And then, do we have any Board of Trustees reports? Okay. Hearing none. We are not recessing to closed session. Our next regular board meeting is Wednesday, October 18th, here at City Hall. The deadline to submit agenda items is Tuesday, October 9th. Wednesday, October 11th, all backup materials are due. Anything else? All right, thanks everyone. No, it's not too early to adjourn. It's perfect time to adjourn at 7:20.